Hi, I'm Firefighter Ray, and on this episode of Firehouse Kitchen, I'm gonna be cooking with celebrity chef Joe Ciminera. That's why we're cooking in my firehouse, the Bayport Fire Department. Get ready for Firehouse Kitchen. All right, we are here at the Bayport Fire Department, my fire department, with a special guest, Joe Ciminera.
Thank you, Ray.
Joe's been on TV for many, many years. I've been watching your show, enjoying your show.
Thank you.
I saw that little spoof on YouTube with a guy cutting his finger, which I thought was amazing.
Let's hope none of that happens here.
Okay,
today.
yeah. Well, it could happen because I'm not too good with knives. But we're actually making New York strip steak today. And our steak in the firehouse is, I would probably say, the #1 meal that we eat. Whenever we go to the market, we go shopping, guys will yell out different things that we're gonna eat. We're gonna eat chicken, we're gonna eat this. Somebody always yells out steak, and steak always wins when we go to the market. So what are we doing?
Well, I like your stove here, first of all, so we'll be able to do a lot of cool things with it. But, you know, we got some steak here, Ray, but I do things a little bit different when it comes to, like, cooking steak.
Okay.
I cook it on the fire, meaning on top of the stove with olive oil, some herbs and stuff like that.
In a pan or?
In a pan.
Okay, I was gonna say,
So,
you're just gonna throw it on top of the stove and just let the,
you know,
fire eat it away. All right,
and
good.
then we got the fire extinguishers for your show. But, I mean, you know, people have this misconception that the steak should be only put on a grill, and especially when they bake it in the oven, kills it.
Okay.
So for years, I've done everything on the stove. If you want the grill marks, okay, but you get the maximum flavor off of doing it the way we have here.
So are we basically frying the steak?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, wow,
Pan
okay.
searing it. We're gonna put some herbs in it first, you know, and then we're gonna pan sear it. And our steak is gonna be served rare to mid-rare if that's how you like it.
That's what I love it.
All right, awesome.
All right.
So to get started, I guess we could talk about this cut of beef here. Now this is a New York strip, and the thing about a New York strip, or they call it a 180 shell, is basically you have the fat cap on the outside here, and you can see it if I turn it over. Nice fat cap. This is all good flavor here. So to get started, you know, people kind of season the beef always with a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm gonna do something a little bit different, right? If you could open up one of those bags there. Our first mix is called a martini spice. And we got some celery, salt, celery root.
A little vodka.
Yeah, we don't have any of that, but
No
it
vodka.
wouldn't be
Martini.
bad.
All right, good.
We might have a little bit on the side there. And then we have some other spices in there that are sort of confidential, but if you're right in, maybe we'll give it to you. And if I could ask you just to
Take a
put
steak,
the steak in there, put it in the bag, close it up.
All right.
Let's put a little salt and pepper if you don't mind.
Salt and pepper.
So we got that steak,
we got
right?
that
It
in
looks
there.
pretty good, right?
Yeah, mix
You
it
could take that out.
All right.
This is good. What we're gonna do is make sure we get that fat cap with some of this too, because the fat is definitely flavor.
That's my favorite part.
Now, what I have here, we can leave that down there for a second. What I have here is a big pan. We're gonna put a decent amount of oil in. And before we started the show, I had that pan get really hot. But then I took it off a little bit because it was burning. Now, the thing is, if you're gonna sear any kind of steak into a pan, and it's a non-stick pan, it better be piping hot oil.
Okay.
You have to really watch out, because what I like to do is sort of, like, let's just say this is the pan. I like to tip it up and put the steak down, you know, so it doesn't kind of splatter on you. It's sort of like the safe-proof way at home of doing this cooking method. So I'm really gonna blast the heat on here until it gets to a real smoking point. Then I'm gonna bring it over here and I'll show you. So talk to me about the firefighters and steak. I mean, that's gotta be like the #1.
Oh, I mean, steak is probably 7 nights a week. 4 nights we're having steak. 5 nights,
Really?
and maybe 3 lunches we're having steak. Steak sandwiches in the afternoon. We make steak tacos, steak everything. You know what it is everybody likes steak, and whenever we work in the firehouse or whenever you're with a lot of firemen, you have to kind of meet everybody's taste buds. You know, some guys don't like fish, some guys don't like chicken. Everybody likes steak. There's not too many vegetarians in the firehouse.
No.
And if they are, they bring in their own food. And
They're embarrassed.
I've never met a vegetarian firefighter yet. You know, but the steak is, you know, and we do it. We all have barbecues outside. We do a lot of barbecue on the steak. Probably the #1 steak that we get is the ribeye. We always get ribeyes in the back. And I feel bad for all our neighbors because they smell steak all the time.
All right, so we're good to go. You see that smoking? That's hot. Now, to play it safe, I just sort of bring the steak down over here. Now, you want to shake the steak. If you notice, it's not sticking. If it sticks, we're in deep trouble. So what we're gonna do is put that steak on there fire, and then we just kind of let it rest in the heat for right now.
Okay.
So you're not necessarily putting it right back to the fire because you want to give those flavors, you know, a chance to kind of marinate with the
Soak
steak.
in.
Yeah, not necessarily burn the heck out of the rub. Next, what we're going to do is take this.
Oh, baby.
We're going to put it right on the fat side. Now, the whole time that you're doing this, you take a spoon here. And you're going to sort of baste it. You're going to take some of this oil, and you put it right over the top of the steak. You see that method?
Yeah.
You really baby this whole method of cooking steak, but it's like basting if it was in a pan. It takes a little while longer, but you can really develop a good crust on the steak. And again, when you think it's ready to go and it's not so hot that it's burning the rub that you put on, then you can move it back over to the heat.
I'm taken back just by how dark it looks right now. I mean, that was only on there for 2 minutes.
It's only on there for 2 minutes, but keep in mind, it's still raw in the center, so we want to kind of temper it back and forth. It's the best, because we got some more stuff we're going to be putting on there as well. Right? So we got that. Next, what we want to do is take a couple of pieces of garlic. And just, you know, with your knife, smash them down. And throw that garlic right in that oil. Now you're going to have that flavor of the oil here and the garlic right on top of that steak. And then what you could do is just take your steak and cook that side of it now too. Because what I'm going to do in a minute, after you get the first run of this oil, is we're going to put it in the pan and put some new oil in there.
Okay.
And then something else is going to go on top of it. So we want to make sure that we're getting a really good pan sear to the point where it's good and it's blackened, but it's not necessarily burnt.
That locks all the juices in, right?
Exactly right.
That's searing.
Now, what I'm doing with the fork, you don't want to do it too much longer because you can start to pierce the juices out of the steak. So we're just going to leave that there now. I'm going to take my oil, bring it back to the pan and hit it with some more of this clean oil. Now what we're going to do is take a couple of pieces of celery. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but like celery can be used in so many different applications. You know, now we're going to use it as our vegetable.
I usually just put peanut butter on celery.
Yeah, peanut butter, jelly. But celery is very nice. It's got a salty flavor. And we're going to put it right there with the oil. Take this back over there. Take our steak, we're going to put this back like that. Now we're going to let this cook on a low flame.
Now that's soaking up the flavor from the celery?
It's going to soak up the flavor of the celery. It's also give it a nice salt texture as well to the beef.
Hi, I'm Firefighter Ray, and today's fire fact is the rescue truck. Now there are many different trucks in the fire department, but this truck doesn't just carry putting out fire equipment. This actually carries extrication equipment if somebody's trapped in a building collapse. And we have a very special tool for this. We have the hearse tool. The hearse tool, as you might know as the jaws of life, this is what spreads out and gets people out of cars. It also can lift something off somebody. It has 5,000 PSI. That's like 20,000 pounds of lifting power. So if a car's on top of somebody, a piece of a building, this can lift it right off. We also have something called airbags that we can also use to lift. We also have the cutters. The cutters aren't for spreading, they're for actually cutting the roof off of a car. These cutters cut a car in half. Look at these jaws. These jaws go right in and they can pretty much cut any metal. 5,000 pounds of PSI. The hearse tool is probably one of the most used tools in the fire department, other than the hose, of course, for fires. But this is the rescue truck. As I said, we have many different kinds of trucks in the fire department, and this one is mostly used for extrication of people who are trapped, people who are in car accidents. The rescue truck. Thanks a lot, Dave, for helping out.
All right, Ray, as you can see, we got the celery cooking. It's going to take a while.
And that steak is just soaking up that flavor.
Yeah, it's soaking up the flavor. And now what we're going to do is, you see how the steak kind of holds its own now? It doesn't really release any of its... Now what we're going to do is just put a simple salt and pepper on these two remaining steaks. So we're gonna put those in here too.
Now those will get the flavor from that steak, from that.
Yeah,
that rub
this
that
is
you
really gonna hold its own, but that oil is still gonna be very flavorful.
Okay.
And we're gonna take a little cayenne pepper and put it on this one. It's a little heat. Make sure you get that fat cap. We're gonna dip this one down, and then this one's plain, sort of goes like that. We're gonna return it to the fire. Blast it a little bit. So what we're gonna have is the best of both worlds. We're gonna have a couple of rare steaks over there, and then we're gonna have a mid-rare over there. I got a couple of pestos. Well, we have a similar pesto here, sun-dried tomato, and then we have artichoke. So what I like to do is put a little bit of both in here.
Okay.
And I like to put this on the fire with a little bit of cream spinach.
A little bit of cream spinach. Okay. Pesto and spinach.
Pesto and spinach. So this is kind of how it looks.
That's new. I
Yeah.
never saw pesto and spinach before.
And we're gonna throw that back there. Now the cream of spinach was pretty easy. What I did was I took the fresh spinach, chopped the heck out of it, you know, just really minced it up, and then hit it with a little bit of cream cheese. A little
Okay.
cream cheese, a little something what they call creme fraiche. So now you cool with our spices that we had here, right?
Yep.
Now in the Firehouse, are you privy to a lot of those spices, or it's basic?
Nah, you know, salt, pepper, cayenne pepper, that's a little spicy. You know, you gotta have to ask guys if they're into spicy. You have to make things a little toned down. But we're pretty basic.
Yeah.
Like we don't use thyme and we don't use cinnamon sticks and whatnot.
Right.
You know, we're pretty cut and dry, meat and potatoes.
Hey, cut and dry is good. You know, I always say don't put too much on a product, because then you lose the original flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's good to get kind of fancy when you want it, but know that it shouldn't take away from anything. See how the celery is
Yeah,
kind
that's good.
now in a little while, because it's so hot, it's going to kind of wilt itself down, and that's going to be a great accompaniment to the sliced steak. All right, see how we're looking? Looking good. Now see, remember I told you this was holding its own? We'll take that, flip it over.
Look at that. You go bananas for these in the Firehouse.
Now what we're gonna do is start to flavor this baby too. By taking that garlic again. This time we're gonna put more than what we did before. You wanna smash it because I think it releases the flavor. You know, you can leave it whole if you want, but throw that in there. We'll turn that around too. Make sure you get that fat
Cook.
nice and cooked. Release that into there.
Frying steaks, I love it.
Yeah, with flavor, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah, you're locking everything in.
Make sure we get that one standing up. So it releases all.
Out of these three steaks, which one do you prefer?
I'm definitely gonna like this blackened one.
Okay.
You see the red kind of coming up, the blood out of the meat
Yeah, look,
right
it's starting
there?
to expand, yeah.
That's a perfect, right there, right now, mid-rare. And then we're gonna take this off in a second. See that?
Yeah. Oh.
Now I'm gonna take this one off because we're gonna cut this baby. I'm gonna put this other one back on the fire. This is looking good too. This is actually going right on top of our steak, so we're gonna have that cooked down. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm giving you a piece.
I will take
Be
a
honest.
piece.
Might be a little hot, just watch it. And the mid-rare we talked about.
That is to die for. Are you kidding me?
See, you got rare over here, and then around the sides it's cooked. So we're gonna
That's
put that
perfect.
like that.
My wife loves medium rare steak.
This
Loves
is
it.
definitely. You see that crust that we built around it?
Yes, it's
Now these other ones here,
It's all right, we can handle this fire in the kitchen.
exactly right. Now remember we talked about taking that old oil,
Yep.
and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Put it back here.
Are we gonna drink that later?
We might. We might, man. You never know. We're gonna take our steak. Now this right here, we're still at the rare state because those steaks are pretty thick. What we're gonna do is take some of this goat cheese. And this is the point where we put the goat cheese on top and we kind of let it do its thing.
ooze over it.
Yeah, just let it ooze over. You don't need to even put this back in the fire at all. See how it's already starting to melt over there nice and creamy? And we're gonna get a perfect rare out of this. And we don't stop there, because what we're gonna do with this steak here, we have some hard cheese. And here on Firehouse Kitchen, do it right. That cheese is gonna go perfect with steak. Like if you have like a really like sharp cheese and you pair it with one of these babies, I'm telling you, it's amazing.
I would just love to see the face of the guys if I came up with the cheese in front of everybody. Here you go, boys. Some hard cheese for you.
One thing I know, firefighters know how to eat.
Yep, oh yeah. Well, the whole day revolves around the meal.
That's good.
You know, what we work in the firehouse, but you know, when we come in, it's what do we have for lunch? We come in for a night tour, it's what do we have for dinner?
You guys deserve, right? You're putting out fires and putting your lives on the line.
That's it. I said it before, when it's good, it's very good. When it's bad, it's very bad.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, so that's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna cook a little while longer, and then we're gonna take it off, slice it. So you have your topping rub. You never wanna put the rub on first, because then it would burn. But you're at the mid-rare stage. This is gonna go back to the fire, and it's gonna kind of melt.
So we're gonna cook this more with these toppings on. So these aren't fully cooked yet. We're gonna put them back on.
Yeah, another minute or two.
Let everything soak right in.
Yeah, so we're gonna blast it now.
Okay.
We're gonna add a little bit more oil.
A little more oil.
Now, as soon as the oil goes on there, it's got like maybe a few seconds before it's gonna turn on to the temp that we want.
Okay.
And remember how we basted it in the beginning?
Yes.
We're gonna do that right now.
We're gonna baste it again. There it goes. You can hear it. You can hear it heating up.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, once you do it like this, you never want to put your steak back in the oven. You'll never get it like this.
Does Ruth Chris do it like this? Do they?
They have a broiler.
I know they put butter, or they saute butter on
like
it.
a 1,000-degree broiler. What they do is they butter the steak and put it all the way up to the top. And it's good. It's a good steak. Yeah. This method is good, too.
I like that. This is...
Okay. Now, you got this oil. You just take it, throw it right over the top. See that?
Oh, yeah.
You do the same thing with the cheese. That way you're going to get the flavor of everything, and you don't need to necessarily put it back in the oven to melt, because all that's going to do is dry it out. It's going to be like circular heat. It's going to leak out all the juices. Okay. It's going to be like a dry mess.
There's nothing worse than a dry steak.
No.
I don't know how people eat well-done steak.
Yeah, we don't want anybody in the firehouse eating dry steak.
No. I got one of my Irish buddies. He eats it. It might as well be charcoal.
Really?
He says burn it. So then we go out. We'll go to a good steakhouse. We'll go to like Pella's, and he'll say burn it. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I mean, I like to get it all soaked around, and I mean, don't be scared of the oil and stuff. It's not going to hurt you. You try to do it like how I did it, with tipping over, and it's never going to come back at you. You know. See, now that looks good. We're ready to go on that one. This needs a couple of more.
I might need 3 tries of each of these.
I think you will.
So now, like good steak.
None of this is dry at all.
No.
You know what I mean? We basted it in the pan, and you're gonna see. I mean, some of the top restaurants all over the world cook their steak like this.
Got a plate right next to you.
Yeah, we got a plate. I'll cut it on here.
Okay.
Just wanted to get the excess oil off. Which one do you want to try first?
I'm gonna have to try the one with the cheese on it first, because that is just screaming to me.
Got it. You hear that crisp? Comes right off of that. Oh. That bottom is ready to go. Now, if you've never tried the steak with, and look at it, perfect.
Are you kidding me? That is perfect.
And we're gonna give you some extra goat cheese here, because it's your show.
Little extra goat cheese. Let's see what we got.
All right. You know it's hot.
Look on that.
Hot, it's juicy. You gotta give them a couple seconds. Real time here.
Unbelievable.
Good? How's it with the goat cheese? Now, gorgonzola cheese or blue cheese.
I'm getting goat cheese all over the place. Look at it, goat cheese.
Yeah. Goat cheese is good. Blue cheese is even better. Let's try this other one.
That was unbelievable.
We'll leave this one here for you.
That's great. I'm gonna be a cow tonight. I'm gonna be huge.
Now this one, you're gonna have to try with some of the dried cheese.
Okay. So I'll put a little dried cheese on here. We can use my fork, I'm eating it.
Okay.
We get it, there we go.
Let's get that fat off for you.
Don't help the chef, all right? Here we go.
And that dried sharp cheese cuts right through any of the fat in there.
That's my favorite.
Is it? Yeah, that pesto is a winner.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
So we have our pesto. So you can do a lot with your steak. You don't need to have the traditional, steak on one side, mashed potatoes on the other, and vegetable. You can put it all on one.
So we got pesto steak. We got the, what was the rub called that we called again? The
This
martini
is a
rub.
martini rub.
And then we have our gorgonzola cheese.
Yeah, now if you could, since you're in the tasting mood,
I'm in the tasting mood.
try one of these celeries with that cheese on there.
With a little cheese on it.
You see what I was talking about? Now the celery's all over.
Fireman eat with their hands, okay? You ready?
You see how soft that celery got? It went from really crispy. But if we would have left it on there, it would have burned. So now we just let Mother Nature kind of take over the heating process.
That's unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Tastes like steak. It's steak celery. With cheese.
I like it good, I'm glad.
This is really good. Now, these are frying the steaks. Do you have any tips for when you grill to lock in that? They say switch the steak 3 times, just high temperature, really high.
You never want to crisscross the steak first.
Okay.
Sear it on one side, sear it on the other, then get the X. Don't do it on the same time. It constricts the...
I really don't like the celery, Joe. I better, it's just not good.
Well, Ray, thank you so much for having me on the show. I love what you're doing. It's a great concept. You're an excellent host, and really, thank you for having me on the show.
Well, Joe, if you want to find out more about Firehouse Kitchen, you can go on firehouse.kitchenshow.com. That's our website. That's going to have your recipe, every recipe that we've had on the show. If you are a fireman and you want your firehouse on the show, contact us. You can even find us on Facebook at Firehouse Kitchen. Friend us, why not? And we're going to give you all the information. We're raising money for a good cause. We're raising money for the Islip Town Firehouse Museum. It's going to be right outside the Long Island Ducks Stadium in Islip. We're going to build a learning center. It's a very, very good thing to make people more aware of fire prevention. And that's it. Joe, I'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
I was on your show a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you were.
Yes, and I made my sourdough bread.
Good.
That's it, yeah.
Sourdough King.
Oh, it's very good. That Ed Wood, I use that Ed Wood starter, which is unbelievable, that Ed Wood starter. Hey, Joe, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me here.
And I'd love to have you next time on
Firehouse Kitchen.
Woo!